Gain alliance partnership with Israel. Also, who have been towards building for this, right? We feel like in general, what is that happening, right? Where a lot of their ability, their, for example, like kind of startup, FDI, Chinese can also target this.
Also, extent would you go towards China to endorse that?
I feel like when it comes, thank you for reminding me that when it comes to address us moving away from Iran, also because a lot of I tell you later on that. Telling you feel like it's pretty okay with this because Israel is incentivized, like Tel Aviv in general is becoming the next dealing with China, right? China has a lot of ability for them to get a lot of benefits, for example. I don't know, just generally like, get a lot more cheaper, like parts for a lot more cheaper, for example. Like in order to progress, a lot of things. When like trying to build, like we think that China and also if it means our like Africa as of now being sanctioned by a couple of countries like America. In general, economic power to offer to China, right? We next to Iran, we also already and we think that Pakistan anyway, right? They're right next to they, for example, Haiti. We think it's a lot more better for us to join Pakistan. We think that Imran Khan is a lot of a better leader in order for us to gain better deals. Anyways, and we can gain entrance also into nations if we just see that we are aligned with this kind of country, like countries like Pakistan, right? Well, who's exactly? Let's try to look at Iran in general. Who's exactly consolidating power? Are the people that are to side with the like Ayatollah in general. Who's probably in more like this dynamic in general. He's saying that he has a religious doctrine, dogma, which oftentimes is very hard for us to change and a lot harder
benefits of the vulnerable look like people that cannot resist trade. Where we will win. So what is this from? To meet with their interests, China needs to be strategic in pursuing their strategy. Given this, we will read the internet. The vulnerable, what does this look like? We will pursue completely endorse the political agenda and the political parties and family that exist within Iran. We will support the Ayatollah. We will give them military aid. We will give all sorts of aids and benefits that usually come with a partnership. Secondly, we would distance ourselves away from Israel. This can look like criticizing their actions in Palestine. This can look like maybe just appointing them or opposing them in the United Nations. All these sorts of things to warm up the friendly relations to Iran. We are okay with it in principle. So what is the standard of this debate? It is important to note it is not enough to just throw benefits around this debate. There's going to be a benefit to aligning with Israel. There's going to be a benefit to aligning with Iran. What is needed is a comparative. And that comparative was not seen in the world of opening government. That's where I'm going to step in. I'm just going to explain the conditions surrounding Iran and what China's interests are. And given that Iran is in this condition, we will benefit more. So given that, this debate is just an evaluation of where China can exert itself more and where China can control the political process in the Middle East more. Most of my material is responsive to the case of Prime Minister, but before that, I have two things to get out of the way. They posited that now China can be neutral when approaching like the Israeli issues. So I think you can, but it just devalues, just a sheer evaluation of in terms of giving you would own America because endorsing agenda you in the United Nations. When you have to choose between two friends, when one is staying silent when you're being attacked and the other is actively endorsing you, you will always not be prioritized. That's why I think it's a cop-out for opening government to suggest, and it diminishes their benefits if you stay neutral with regards to the political situation in Israel. The second thing, let's talk about Trump. So I think it's true Trump is losing power, but Trump, a Senate that is controlled by Republicans that are strongly in the favor of Israel, Republicans that also actively advocate for the Jewish lobby to enter politics. All these sorts of things still exist. That's why China or Israel is unlikely to deprioritize the United States for the sake of China, right? So given this analysis further into it in my argumentation. So the first question I'd like to answer, what are China's interests? So China wants to be a hegemonic power in two categories. Firstly, politically. What does this mean? They want to bases, they want close countries to China. Secondly, they own Germany. What does this have to do? Oiling up documents to sign agreements that they need in order to be better. The conclusion you can draw for this is that they want maximum access to this thing. What does this mean? They don't want to have to negotiate with a third party that can match them politically. This third party is America. When entering agreements with Israel, there is always going to be a backbencher that will control and proxy them through the negotiations. So Israel cannot afford to screw over America. And this is where I go into my next argument. Why won't China get access in Israel? And this is where I directly respond to opening government. Firstly, they are always going to prioritize the United States evaluation of what. Firstly, like them all their weapons. They have signed arms deals with Israel, clause that you other trade deals with other countries. This is true under the Iron Dome Agreement. This is also true under the Military Pact Agreement. This means whatever deal that China has to specifically work around all the conditions that the United States has already imposed on China, on Israel. And the fact that Israel is also more reliant on the United States comparatively to China. That's where they get the military funding from. That's where they get money from. That's where they get political support in the United Nations from. Given all of this, and secondly, you also cannot get access to the political powers within Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu has already suggested that he will never deprioritize the United States, especially after the US embassy was moved to Jerusalem. All of this suggests that you would always be a second actor and second best in line when it comes to being prioritized or gaining benefits from a particular country. So let's do the comparative. Let's talk about Iran. And why can you get all of these things better isolated? The EU is pulling out of them. It's, for example, BMW no longer wants to have their factories there. And the second thing, Iran is powerful because they have resources. They are a buffer to Israel and also countries that you want to be geographically proximate. That they are more likely than Israel to give you unfettered access to things like pork, like oil, because they have no one else to answer to, and because no one else wants to partner up with them. This means, have a seat. This means China will literally have because Iran is more than willing. This means they're likely to get better oil extraction. Iran has no other choice. These are the conditions that make it specifically right for China to exploit Iran. They don't care whether Iran is good or bad. They want their resources. You are far more likely to get unfettered access to it in the world of opposition compared to the one where you partner up with Israel, because it's conditional on whether the United States. So secondly, some people, we're going to lose Saudi Arabia probably. We'll lose America. And that's fine. Saudi to be partnered up with. Firstly, with the killing of Jamal Khashoggi, it's very difficult and not very politically strategic to be aligned with them at the moment. Secondly, in terms of influence, China wants one belt, one road to go through, all across countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Pakistan, countries. It is true that a lot of them dislike Iran for being Shiite, but on a pure evaluation of who they hate more, they will hate Israel, the break with them out of it, because you are directly worse enemy than the Muslims. So yes, not many people like Iran, but just on a pure evaluation, they hate Israel far more. For all of those reasons, that's why comparatively, you can exploit Iran and get all of those resources better compared to one that is conditional in the world of government. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have the DPN.
But also functions in responding to whatever your opposition says. Because we told you early on, it's not about just resources, it's not just about get. China already has access to the Persian Gulf because their allies already have access to the same ports in Pakistan, and they are unresponsive to the fact that Pakistan hits Iran too. But even then, we tell you. So this means all the argumentation of using talks in Iran in the first place. What can Iran offer that that China can't get anywhere else? Oil. We told you we can have better allyship with Israel, with Saudi Arabia. They wanted rare earth minerals. We have North Korea for that. You wanted what else? Access to Africa. We already have allies in Africa. What we don't have is an ally in the Middle East. What we don't have is entrance to the Mediterranean Sea. What we don't have is ports near Europe. That is Tel Aviv. That is not whatever Iran has to offer. But even then, because they told you, Republicans will be angry because Republicans hate Iran and they're supported by the Jews. Totally unresponsive to see less documentation for us to make use of the Jewish lobby. That the Jewish lobby functions in the interest of Israel and Israeli businesses. That the Jewish lobby funds both the Democrats and the Republicans. And this means the moment you give access and power to the Jewish lobby, we are able to mitigate all the harms that they do. The Jewish lobby has meant that America was able to support Israel no matter what, even with all the atrocities that Israel has done. Even then, we are still able to make allies with America. But here's the final part at 6:30. Muslims will hate you because you ally yourself with Israel. If you follow that logic, Malaysia will never trade with the UK. Malaysia will never trade with the US. Malaysia will never trade with any country that supports Israel. Just because you're an ally doesn't mean they hate you. And even then, we told you, what we do have is an entrance into Saudi Arabia. There's an ability for us to make allies with them and make use of that support ship. Muslims like Saudi Arabia, but Saudi Arabia and MS now likes Israel. What is the link there? None of it were told. So before I extend to what exactly is the unique aspects that Israel can offer this.
Every Israel will backbencher and undermining you through a proxy. How is that valuable to China?
Okay. Here's what, so I'll do that. Let's that China already the comparative doesn't have access to the Persian. What Iran can offer, let's say we have so many other in. There's access for you to be able to attack functioning. It's the only country that functions as a new Silicon Valley that thrives on IPs, on startups, and on AI. That China else. What even if we backbencher on an equal level to make use of all this and gain access to Israeli ports, something they did not prove that they can get, something that's unique to us on the house. But even then, we tell you that America right now is someone that we think is fine to do with. That we tell you that even if we accept all the harms that we do receive lesser control of China, of Israel, sure, because the benefits that you bring on the house is still lower than that. But even then, we tell you, China has been reducing their interest in war in 2018. Your argumentation works in 2016. China has not had new initiatives running in new other countries. What they're doing right now is focusing on the new Made in China policy and vision, for which they want to focus on their tech, on their AI, and focusing on Chinese industries all around the world. We think this is more in line with the new Chinese industries and new Chinese interests. No, CG, CO, if you have anything, I'll take you later. So, but even then, we tell you, American power is weakened because we are able to mitigate this using the Jewish lobby. We are able to use this because Trump is considered a comparatively weaker. That at the very least, we tell you that Benjamin Netanyahu will still like the ability for us to offer him better tech, better military, and better costs at the same level, at the very least, with competition with America. So this means that even if we accept all of the harms that Israel, that China would have to be equal with America, we tell you the benefits outweigh all the harms. They want to argue China is not that country that wants to always control you in all cases. They do this with the US. I don't see why all week. But what did they not respond to? What Sila told you about is the fact that you still can't really control Iran. And even if you do, what can you get from them? What can Iran offer that's unique to what can Iran offer that's unique to this debate? We tell you nothing else that needs to be compared. China is still in sheer political hegemony within the area. What they didn't respond to was that what allies can you get from Iran in the first place? Can you ally yourself with Syria? Oh, sure, they're at war, they're killing their own people. Yemen, the Houthis are at civil war, they're losing to the Saudis. Lebanon, the Hezbollah just lost, they only have 6 votes now in the Lebanese parliament, and just with terrorism, something that's even more. And Qatar, yes, the country being sanctioned and has no power in the region. And even then, we tell you, the issue of optics they wanted to argue doesn't matter. This is the same goddamn country that arrested dissidents, that tortured Muslims, or that they care because it censored everything within the country. So China has had no trends of analysis of them caring about optics in the first place. As long as we prove to you that there is an economic benefit towards China, that's how we will win this debate. CEO, do you show your ideas?
So China's economy thrives on manufacturing product as well, which means that it needs all the raw materials for Israel. how do you address that?
We told you we can get that from Africa, we can get them from Saudi Arabia, from Pakistan, from North Korea. We already have the options for that. The effects of wind, the effects of OBOT that was run 2-3 years ago, still negotiate, because they are the second most popular economy. But what you do not have is the ability for you to make full use of new IPs, of new tech startups, because the comparative is stealing that from America. And America has pledged to sue China. This was the whole reason the tariff war started in the first place. What we tell you then is the ability for you to gain that in a safe manner. It's the ability for you to negotiate and work well with Israel and partner with them to make full use of their new industries. This is what we tell you is the most unique thing that Israel can offer. The ability for China to not just move beyond bullies of the world, but also bullies of the tech world and control the new futures of China. We tell you, panel, the interest of China isn't just war anymore. So forward the new Made in China, with their new Made in China proposal, the ability for them to industries and to control politics, and only on OG do you get that route to propose.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have the deal. Okay.
In this debate, if you say China doesn't have this, China doesn't have that, China really doesn't have a lot of things. But all those things don't actually matter insofar as God doesn't prove to you that having a Mediterranean port or engaging in Israel's new Silicon Valley actually benefits the nature of China's economy and the current vested interest that China actually has, right? So all those don't just immediately warrant benefit or value in this debate. The structure of my speech is going to be very, very simple. I'm going to talk about two questions. The first is an economic comparison between Israel and Iran to see whether are they a good economic ally to engage with. And the second is a political comparison where we leverage ourselves best, given that the world is ridden with proxy conflicts. How does China position itself best? Before that, I just have one quick response to the speaker before we get out this whole startups being a great thing and like how Silicon Valley in Israel is now going to be the silver bullet for China to pioneer the world's economic progress, right? The first thing I'll say is a lot of the benefits that OG is saying about startups and IP laws and etc., IP technology, etc. I don't know how much better these are compared to what China is already pioneering right now. In fact, compared to America, China is already significantly leading the way in terms of like pioneering automated cars, automated technologies. The fact that Google in America literally wants to go and use China's technology to like test out their automated services to see whether they are at par is already a significant show that they are. I don't know how much better Israel is compared to America than China. So all of this I can suggest comfortably is significantly replaceable compared to the at worst, it's complete natural research about later. It's fair to say it's really replacing my speech because it's a quick economic comparison where you leverage yourself best and where do you get better deals and which one does China actually care about. The first thing I want to say is about Israel, right? I don't think they at all engage and tell us why. They will win the fight and prioritizing China, right? Given that they concede and they say that their way of which they're going to go about it is they're going to be neutral as China. They're not actually going to be politically incentivized to make any statements in their work in regards to Israel's political interests. But comparative is another economic actor, the United States of America, which has no problem moving the Jewish embassy right into Jerusalem. The fact that regardless of whether Trump is weakening or not, the fact that there's been generational support across administrations to support the Israelis' interest in wanting to occupy Palestine, all of this suggests that in a comparison of actors, Israel is going to choose America over China in a world where you don't have a political incentive in this area. This is going comparing between these two things. They don't at all also engage with all the complexities that you have to maneuver in the Israeli context once America is already there with the deals that are always stricken with the Iron Dome talked about. The next thing I want to say really quickly about Israel is the fact that they say Iran has absolutely nothing. Israel has absolutely everything. Iran is rich with natural resources. The reason for this is simple. If they're going to suggest that like these startups and technology is really important for China is that the backbone of China that you can actually get fuel that you can sell off and also buy cheaper goods and services to push to empower economy. Suggest that this is really important to China and can position yourself best. This is the reason